Hey everybody. So in an interesting bit of Star Wars slash Disney news this last week, Catherine Powell has resigned as president of Disney Parks West. Now, what's Disney Parks West? Well, Disney Parks West is essentially Disneyland, Walt Disney World, and Disney Paris. Why has she resigned? Well, it's all over the Star Wars Galaxy's Edge fiasco, if you will. What's the fiasco all about? Well, the fiasco is the low attendance at both Orlando, Walt Disney World, and Disneyland. You see, back in May, just prior to the launch of Galaxy's Edge, Disney set up a reservation system just prior to the launch of it because they were worried about huge crowds. So from May 31st till I think June 23rd, you had to have a reservation to get into Galaxy's Edge. And they completely blacklisted or blacked out, I should say, all the annual pass holders. So if you were staying at the hotel, you automatically had a reservation. Anyone else, I believe anyone else, they had to try to get a reservation. Interesting thing about the reservations, those were completely exhausted 2 hours after the window opened to get a reservation. So all the reservations were completely exhausted from May 31st all the way to June 23rd. So, you know, it launched with a huge marketing campaign. My understanding is that there were a lot of crowds during that first opening period. But then people stopped coming. So, I mean, and there's probably a variety of factors at play here. I know personally, I was really looking forward to it, but when I heard that it was a reservation system and that I usually get signed in, but that was even blacked out. Then it was like, you know what, I'm gonna wait till the crowds die down, you know, probably much later in the year. Probably a lot of people were thinking the same thing. Another thing that probably affected it was that apparently hotels in the area, they believed that there would be massive crowds, so they started raising prices for this influx of people. And well, the rise of prices probably caused a lot of people to forego a summer vacation to Disneyland because they probably couldn't afford it at that point. So lots of reasons for why attendance has been way down. And another thing that happened in relation to this is that Disneyland, I'm pretty sure at least it's Disneyland, it may have happened in Walt Disney World too, but they ramped up employment in preparation for these massive crowds. And when the crowds didn't materialize, they had to start cutting hours. So they had to start telling all these new employees, you know, sorry, the crowds aren't here. We don't need you on staff at the moment, or not on staff, but we don't need you in the park at the moment. So we're going to have to reduce your hours. So all these factors have led to Catherine Powell resigning from Disney. So quite an interesting little thing that happened within this last week. It was announced. I think I read this news this past Monday or Tuesday. So yeah, you know, what do you think about this news? Tell me, you know, if you've foregone going to Disneyland because you're worried about the huge crowds or things like that. One other item actually related to this is that Galaxy's Edge only opened with one ride, Smuggler's Run, I believe it's called. The next ride isn't supposed to open, I think, until January in Anaheim, I believe December in Orlando. That's Rise of the Resistance. So that is something else that is suspected that also caused the low attendance at Galaxy's Edge. So, but yeah, let me know what you think. If you think all these things if you think all these things are in fact what led to it, or if you think something else, maybe there's something else that I haven't considered, haven't taken into account. Most of it is my own thoughts, and then I've also read some things online that kind of corroborate that. You know, a friend of mine at work, he said that attendance has in fact been down recently. Interestingly enough, though, profits were up, so there were fewer people, or not necessarily profits, but spending was up in the park. So fewer people, but they were spending more money. So, you know, it's got its good and its bad. It's good because then there are no crowds, but it's probably, you know, overall I would say it's bad for Disney because they like to have lots of people in the park. Obviously, they don't like it to be at capacity, because then it's not fun. You can't move around. Lines are long. They were expecting lines of 2+ hours long for for Galaxy's Edge. I don't know if necessarily specifically the ride or for that area, but they were expecting lines of 2+ hours long, and lines have been like 30 minutes, I think is what I read. So, but once again, you know, let me know what you think below. If you like this video, be sure to hit that subscribe button and the like button, and be sure to hit that notification bell so you can get notified of future videos. And we'll see you in the next one.